Good evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Distractable. This episode, Warped Wade eliminates guilt by gaming, Hawk tours with gusto, and wishes to proffer proficiency. Multitasking Mark has plotting issues, does not lust after Miss Linny, but crushes on Caitlin. Bobby Bob is bested by his beauty, identifies AI-illuminated idiocy, and accumulates awards. From Snoo Snoo to Pro Roastville. Yes, it's time for Talent. Now sit back and prepare to be distracted and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Distractable. I'm your host, Wade. Welcome to the show where one of us hosts, the other two compete for points, and the winner gets to host the next episode. I'm joined as always by my friends, talented co-hosts, Mark and Bob.
Hello.
Last podcast standing. We did it, boys.
The others are all gone.
Yeah, every other podcast just gave up.
We're finally number one again.
I was unaware.
I was not aware of this development, but I can't say I'm disappointed. I am very excited to be the only podcast.
Well, I was just saying that as a joke because Brain Leak ended.
I did see that.
Oh yeah, I did too. Yeah.
If they weren't enjoying it, I mean, whatever.
So if we're not enjoying this, we can just...
Yeah, no, if you're not enjoying this, Mark, you can go ahead and... Are you having a bad time?
No, I'm still here.
Mark, how many points to keep you around?
How many points you got?
Mark gets a every episode point handicap just to make sure he continues to enjoy.
Here's a 1.
Wow, thank you.
It's not a very good one. It's kind of...
What in God's name? Why are our names Mahri and Bobby?
Those are colons.
Oh yeah, Bobby.
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 Bobby. Dang it, Bobby. Damn, what a great impression. Thank you.
That one landed.
You got to give him a second to land. And landing is not an instantaneous thing. You got to let it bring it in a little bit.
I'm not really landing. I'm just going full force right into the wall.
That's what the gymnasts do in the Olympics. They just it keeps spinning till they hit someone, and that's how they stick.
Or until their balls catch something and just stop them like a parachute.
A pole vault and a penis.
So how are you guys?
Doing good.
I'm not home still.
Expound.
Man, I don't know how. See, at this point, I have shame because I have no excuse for not uploading videos. For those that are like, oh man, I hope he gets back so we can record. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 videos in my Dropbox, edited
and ready
to go. I have not uploaded them.
You won't let anyone upload it for you?
No, I no one has access to my channel, so I do it all myself. And I believe this is an ADHD thing where if I am so focused on one thing, I cannot do anything else, because if I switch gears, I will lose all momentum in the thing that I am focused on. And it's purely psychological. Like, I know I could do it and it would take me just a little bit of time, and I should probably do it today. Just do it all in one blast and get them all up and schedule them. But I just have so much trouble with doing that. I have an inability to, as much as I do multitask in my life of various things that I'm juggling, I don't do that well. And also I like to fantasize that I'm one day, one thing, that's all I'm doing. And that's like something I've always kind of strived for, but never really works out. So I'm sorry to everybody. I'm a bad YouTuber.
Hey, by the time this episode comes out, most of those will probably be uploaded and viewed by you all, right? None of those will be uploaded and viewed by you all.
No, I don't know what that is. I'm sure there's a name for it. I have that exact same thing. You've been busier than I have for a while now with movie stuff, but like, you ever have those days where you have a thing, like you're like, all I need to really do is this one thing tomorrow, and there's a bunch of other stuff, but like, I need to get this one thing done, and then like I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh wait, my phone didn't charge last night. Well, I'm not going to do it. Not going to make it. Got to take care of this now. like before I've even been awake for half an hour, something happens that just derails me, and my brain is like, well, now we can't do anything. Guess we better get on social media.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It is incredibly annoying because there's so many basic things that I could do that would take such little time. But if it's not in like a list that I can check off a box for, or if it's not like planned the night before, but also I'm terrible about planning the night before. I do not, even though I've said so many times, it's like all I want to do at evening when it's 9:30, sit down with a schedule, figure out what I'm doing tomorrow, like the next day. Oh man, that would be so good if I could do that. I don't do that.
I don't know what that is, but it's awful. Do you get the, even while there's literally time in the, like it's the middle of the day, you could do all the things that you're currently avoiding, and you're sitting there and you're like feeling guilty that you're not doing something, but also you could just be doing it, but you're just like, I'm too busy feeling this guilt.
Let me tell you, if you have a nice tablet in front of you and you're playing like a mobile game, or you get on your computer, put on a game, or you put something on the TV, you forget all about the guilt with that distraction. It's guilt-free distraction.
There's doom scrolling. I hate scroll. Every time I flip a new video or new thing on my feed, I go like, oh, you asshole, you worst. Oh, you're gonna change it on this next one. Haha, I'm not surprised you didn't. You suck. And that's what I do.
Hate scrolling, the evolution of doom scrolling.
I found a new thing about mobile games for me. I'm not a huge mobile game guy. I know, Wade, you have had like kind of almost an addiction level.
It's been bad in the past, but I'm in a good spot now. It's been a good spot for a while.
Recently, I found a game that I really like, and it's like it's one that you see a lot of ads for, whatever. It's the Tower. It's just like a really passive defensive tower defense kind of thing. And Mandy just out of nowhere was like, man, I have mobile games. They're all like in a bad spot. I'm looking for a new game to play. And I was like, oh, you should try this. It's a fun game. And she is smarter than I am and more analytical than I am. And it's like a very numbers based game. Like you could do math to figure out the optimal strategy. I don't do that. I just do what I think is fun. She immediately started playing. She's only been playing for like a week and she's passed me. And I have months in this game. So now every day, instead of being like, oh, I'll play this game, it'll be fun whatever. I'm like, I'm done with this. I have to play the Tower now because Mandy's going to she's pulling away. I need more coins. I need to play. It's like a fear gaming. It's like a new thing for me. I've never had that before, but because it's not like I'm mad at Mandy for passing me. She's just good. She's just smart. And she just looks and is like, oh, I should do this. This is optimal. And I look and I'm like, the effect on this one's really cool. That looks great. It sucks though. Oh, well.
There's some people that are like that where they can just look and see the most optimal path and then chase it. Even if I see the most optimal path, I'll still try every other configuration possible just in case I didn't see something. Even though I know it's not going to work, I go like, aha, that seems good. It's a trick. I'm going to try these stupid ones just in case genius was missing here.
Even when I accidentally stumble upon good strategies, I'll do that a couple times and then I'll start over and I'll be like, just for fun this time, why don't I do this other thing that I know is garbage and will not get me anywhere? Yeah, I'll spend a little while doing that.
Oh yeah, I've lost with this setup before. Let's try it.
Maybe it'll be different now.
I get frustrated whenever I can't be at end game in games like that fast. Like if I started a gotcha type game or a tower defense game, it's like I don't want the starter towers or the starter characters or the starter. I want end game now. How do I get end game now? And I get very frustrated if I have to do the journey, the progression. I'm just like, let me load in, have all the best stuff, and just dominate everything, and then I'll have fun.
Isn't that like called like playing the game?
Yeah, I don't want that. I just want to be great at it already.
You download and install a new game and you're like, why isn't this over?
I want to have like the end game build. Like you're playing an RPG, I want all the armor and weapons and levels and skill points, but at the start. And then when that first guy comes up, the tutorial battle, I just like spit. I hawk Tua and he dies.
You hawk Tua and he dies?
If I had all that stuff, I would. He'd never know.
Wade's gonna blow his brains out.
I'm gonna blow him away. Spit on that thing. Did I say that? Is that copyrighted now? It might be.
It's probably. Didn't she make like a podcast or something? It's probably.
I mean, entirely. And you know what? Maybe she's really entertaining. Maybe she's got a bright future. Maybe she's a star. I don't know.
That one clip really resonated with a lot of people, so she just needs to recreate that constantly for the rest of her life in new and genius ways.
I mean, if you think about it, it's the same way that people get viral on YouTube or TikTok, and then they try to recreate that magic, and it's never the same, and it slowly fades over time.
I wish we'd spat on a dick a while back.
How do you think I got this success?
But guys, breaking news. This is not small talk so much as it's just a thing in the world, but I thought it was funny and it's pertinent to us. Google has announced a new product. Product feels wrong, but it's a thing they invented. It's called oh no, wait, hang on.
Editors, don't edit any of this out. Zoom in on his camera. Zoom in as he's searching.
Hang on. Illuminate. There it is. Google Illuminate has been announced, and there's some demonstrations of it. What it does is it's an AI language thing. You can feed it a like an academic article, like an academic paper, and it will, using AI, generate like a summary of it, but it generates it in the form of two people having a discussion as if it were a podcast. So, and there are examples out there that you can listen to. And so it's literally AI generate, but it'll be, the paper will be like, oh, researching the effect of what radiation on and it'll just, you hit play and a voice will just be like, so I read this new paper that did some research on the effect of radiation. And then another, like a woman's voice will be like, oh, that's fascinating. Did they do this? And they just talk. It's like a summary of the academic article thing, whatever academic paper.
You know the meme with the Planet of the Apes monkey? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's like all podcasts felt a shiver in their soul.
Or Congo when the gorilla's like, hey, me.
I didn't actually watch the movies. I only know the meme.
Congo? Movie Congo? It's like a 90s movie? Wasn't the gorilla's name Amy?
I don't know.
You ever saw the movie Congo?
No.
It's like a good gorilla that has like...
Oh, as opposed to all the other gorillas.
Yeah, the other ones are evil as shit, man.
The ones are evil.
They're evil and they're scary. I think there's laser beams in that movie. I can't remember.
There are. I see a picture. There's a laser beam going right over this gorilla's head.
Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember there was a good gorilla and bad gorillas.
This gorilla is... look, I don't mean to judge, but this gorilla is ugly as fuck. I haven't seen too many, beautiful gorillas, but this one, oof, that's rough. Those teeth are...
I probably haven't seen this movie since 1995 when it apparently came out.
Dude, Tim Curry's in that movie.
Oh, he's got a gem. Why does he has a gem a lot in movies. He's always... I feel like I've seen this picture of him looking at a gem in multiple different costumes.
Here, would you like a synopsis? Scientist Karen Ross is sent by her father-in-law, Mogul R.B. Travis, to the Congo to determine the whereabouts of his son's missing diamond hunting team, led by expert guide Kelly, Ross, and a mismatched search party, including primatologist Dr. Peter Elliott, treasure hunter Herkimer Homolka, played by Tim Curry, and a gorilla, no name included.
I just got this, like, shh, be very quiet. We're hunting diamonds.
It is named Amy. The gorilla is named Amy.
Oh, good. That's great. There's a different movie called Congo. 2009, two Norwegian adventurers accused of killing their hired chauffeur just before crossing into the eastern Congo. Following manhunt starts a political and diplomatic headache.
Are you guys good on small talk? Because this is kind of a good transition point for me.
Congo? Can't wait to see where this goes.
Oh, just you wait. Buckle up, baby. We've touched on this a few times already today, and I'm glad. And Congo and bringing up some stuff about it. I want to talk about talent. Just talent we appreciate today. And whenever you mentioned like Tim Curry, I love Tim Curry. I think someone brought up the Olympics earlier, just like different things that involve talent. We talk about talent, lack of talent, people that are unappreciated, overappreciated, just the right amount of appreciated, whatever y'all want to talk about with talent. I just figured it's something we haven't really discussed, things that we enjoy, talent we appreciate, stuff like that. So until I find out that 2 weeks ago I hosted the same episode.
Well, this is not, unfortunately, I think this is a unique idea, but did you say one of us brought up the Olympics already? Did that happen?
Well, because he said gymnastics, and I was like, that's pole vault, yeah.
Never mind. Yeah, the Olympics. Somebody brought that up. That makes sense.
I had an idea. It's completely gone. Oh, wait, I remember what it was. I don't know where this took place, but there was a video on Reddit. This must have been months ago, like maybe even over a year ago. And it stuck with me because of the talent of this guy at selling something. Now, in today's day and age, you don't see many salesmen and you don't see many sales pitch. And, you got your Billy Mays here. Da, 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 da. This wasn't that. This guy was like selling, I don't know, a bottle of champagne or something like that. It wasn't that, but I think it was something like that. And he was just talking about it, talking about the history of it, talking like he had showmanship, the way he was presenting the product. the way he was like working the people at the table and like explaining what it was and things. He might have just been a waiter at a restaurant that was talking about he might have been a sommelier or something like that. But the way he was talking about it made me want it so badly. And I know that's just a human psychology trick, but I don't drink. I don't think I was a regular consumer of whatever this was, but his talent at selling it was so compelling that I, through a screen, was compelled to seek it out. And if I was there my wallet would have been out, I would have been throwing money at this guy. He was just so good, just a good salesman. I haven't seen like a salesman that good in my entire life. I've never met one in person. I mean, the only experience I really have with salesmen is car salesmen, and they're all terrible. I remember walking into a Hyundai dealer, and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a car." He's like, "Are you gonna buy?" And I'm like, "What? I'm not gonna talk to you unless you're gonna buy." And I ended up walking out, and I went to another dealership and bought a car that day at another dealership just because he was that bad at selling. I was like, "How do you get this job and not be good at selling?" But
Dude's such a bad salesman. He encouraged you to buy a car you didn't want from somebody else just to spite him.
And I was ready to buy that day, and I left because I didn't like what he was doing. It was terrible.
I've had that happen a surprising amount with car dealer or car salesman type people as well. Like, I've definitely met some who were at least like good enough where it's like, okay, this is fine. And I didn't necessarily buy anything from them. They were just good. But some car salesmen just don't care or are real jaded about, I don't know. Maybe it's a harder industry than it seems like it is, but some of those guys are really, really fucking rude. And I don't know why.
I don't get it either. I think it might just be they're counting on reverse psychology in some way to work, being like, I'll show you, I can buy 10 of these. I don't know who that works on.
I can appreciate that. That's a good skill.
Hey, if you ever need to spite somebody by buying 10 cars, I still need one. So
you could buy one at any time.
Yeah, there's no reason that you don't have a car except for your own self.
Oh, but I'm so picky. Oh.
If we bought you a car and it wasn't what you wanted, would you return it?
He's way too lazy to do that. He would just not use it and let it sit. It would be like the boxes of things in his office that never get opened or used for any reason.
I would just have a box of car in my driveway.
You would never take the car out of the box. You would just like smile and be nice and then set it aside and never look at it again.
I mean, eventually I'd open it.
Just because you needed the box or something. I mean, a car-sized box, honestly, sounds pretty fun.
I need a box to put all my boxes in, honestly. That'd be kind of helpful.
James is in a state right now where he loves boxes. A car-sized box? Holy shit. That would be the coolest thing that's ever existed.
That would blow his baby-sized head, brain, mind.
Mind, that's the one. I mean, head, brain, or mind, interchangeable.
So talents.
Yeah, talents.
Talents.
This is a weird one. And I don't know if it's probably just a me thing, because I'm not interested enough in it that I've ever seriously tried. But there's something about people who are really good at doing yo-yo tricks. Where it's like when I was a kid, I had a yo-yo and I learned how to do some of the absolute most basic things. But there's just something about watching a person who's like in a flow state. Just the yo-yo is just like go and around and boom, and they catch it. And it's like, I don't understand. I can't even make a yo-yo spin for as long as these people are doing like tricks with it. And it's not a thing I know anything about or try and replicate, because I don't think I could anyway. But it's very impressive. If there's ever a yo-yo video, I will always stop and just be like, wow. Okay. And then move on.
I get that though. No, it is, because I remember I've probably not touched a yo-yo in 20 years, but like I remember like just trying to get it to like stay down for a second, be like, dude, I'm yo-yoing, and then bring it back up. And then you'd see someone like flinging it around, like skipping over it and all that stuff, and it's like, holy crap. Yeah.
Do you think talent's real?
I think talent is real. What does that mean?
Talent in the way that people classically explain talent, where it's like, oh man, you're really good at this thing. You were born to do this thing. Or, someone picks it up and they are somehow naturally inclined to do that one thing. I'm not talking about like genetics coming into play where it's like sure. Michael Phelps is a genetic freak where he's built to swim.
Yeah, he's just a freak of nature.
I'm talking like, someone just picks something up and they are talented at that one thing. Is that even real? Because I don't know if there's too many occasions where someone was just a natural savant at this thing and it didn't require years and years and years and years of practice. You know what I mean?
I think that yes, it is, but I think that for someone to be so naturally talented at something that it's like they're a master at it from the very moment they've begin doing it is not a very realistic portrayal of it. But just in my own life, I was a musician in a previous life, and I went to school for music for a couple years, and like I did it pretty seriously. And I was never, even with practicing and working really hard, I was never good enough that I could have really realistically been a professional musician. I just didn't have the things that you need to be successful at that. But I had like a natural talent for it even before I started really working at it and practicing it. And it's completely inexplicable. Like I did not, when I was in middle school, high school, I never like took my instrument home and practice. I would maybe do it a little bit, and I would do maybe practice one measure that was really hard or something. But I played jazz. I played in like an English style brass band. I did marching band. I did all kinds of stuff. And it was like, I have some kind of talent, or my brain works in some sort of way where like, yeah, I'm unreasonably good up to a very low skill level at like musical things and rhythmic things that I didn't earn through anything other than I just had that when I started. It was definitely like, it wasn't even enough to get me through 4 years of college and get a degree in music. I reached a point where my professor sat me down and was like, you're not going to make, like, you're not good enough. Sorry, kid. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I switched to another degree, but I had something. There was no other reason. It's not like my parents are musicians or anything. Like I'm not from a family of all a bunch of talented musicians. But there's like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but the movie thing where it's like a kid sits at a piano for the first time ever and starts playing some ridiculous shit that's like, I don't think that outside of maybe like Savant type situations where it's like a 1 in a billion, once in the world type of thing maybe could happen.
Because there definitely are kids that are just like,
you don't feel like you have talents at something where it's like intrinsic?
No, I think I do. It's more like, I'm not saying that question as if I don't believe it entirely, because there definitely are kids that like, they just understand music and they can understand perfect pitch. They can identify the individual notes of chords from just hearing like an extremely complex chord. But it's always I wonder about that, because I also, when I first started playing trumpet, the first year that I did it in 5th grade or whatever it was, or the summer before 6th grade, I ended up like going to the next year, and then I was first chair, and I was like, I didn't even know what that meant. And I was like, why am I sitting here? What was it about? I must have missed something. And they're like, no, you're good at trumpet. This is 1 year into it, so I'm like in 6th grade or something. And I go like, what? What do you mean I'm good at it? I couldn't differentiate why I was playing any better than anyone else, because I didn't know that I was. I had no idea. And I don't remember ever being tested or something like that. Suddenly I was in the first chair and I was just like, what? But I'd never been good at anything. So I got really excited. So I for a little bit there, I was trying really hard at it. Then I realized I hated it. So I wrote it out for 4 more years after I realized I didn't like it. So I kept it going just because it was like that one thing. Oh man, someone said I was good at it, and I didn't practice. So I got procedurally not better. So I kind of stayed at the same level for a very long time. And so it's like, is that talent? Was that talent? Is that wasted talent? Is something like it's well, I don't know.
There's like some piano creators and piano people out there that can like hear part of a song they've never heard before, and they'll just like listen for a second. They're like, okay.
You mean Dan?
Yeah, like Dan. They'll just automatically just start playing that song, which maybe has no piano in it whatsoever, just on piano, and it sounds great. And it's not even just like they're picking out one instrument. It's like the overall flow of the song. They'll combine like guitar, bass, whatever, and they'll like have it as one nice flow. It's like, how in the world do you put that together that quickly? Another example of talent I thought of is not just like a single immediate thing like that, but there was a fan-made Star Wars thing on YouTube probably like 10 years ago or something. Darth Maul apprentice, something like that.
You're talking about Star Wars, kid?
That's a little bit older than 10 years, I think. No, this was like, they did like costumes and makeup to look like Darth Maul and some Jedi and stuff. And they had this like amazing choreographed fight. Their lightsabers look like really good. The whole thing looks like film quality. It's really, really well done. And it's just like this big duel in the woods between Darth Maul and a bunch of Jedi. I can find it. Darth Maul Apprentice, a Star Wars fan film by T7 Pro. I will link it to you all in case you want to check it out.
Too late. I'm sure I spelled it Aprechentenve. Oh man.
Good thing your talent is not in typing.
I really took to typing in typing class, though. I was really into it. I was super into beating Mavis Beacon. I wanted to destroy Mavis Beacon.
I feel like everyone else in the entire world did Mavis Beacon other than me. What is that?
What'd you do?
I started typing on computers. I don't know.
They didn't teach anything in school. Like you didn't have a keyboard typing thing.
So I think there was like an introductory like computer skills class, but I was really into tech and computers when I was a kid. And so you didn't have to take that to do the other stuff. I took like CAD modeling class.
Even younger, man. This is like elementary school or like very early. We would go to like a computer lab and be like, we would just type.
I think maybe we did that, and I just was like, I figured out how to get games to load on this thing, so I'm just going to play games for this whole.
People did that. Oregon Trail was a very popular way to not do the Mavis Beacon typing.
I have no memory of Mavis Beacon. I've watched videos of people, looked at this off. I have no memory whatsoever. No idea. But I seem to be the only one. I don't know what happened.
I had like super anxiety while taking the Mavis Beacon learning stuff because it was always like I couldn't play Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid because of the timer. And the Mavis Beacon stuff was like type this within the time allotted. It's like timer. He's gonna drown. Sonic's gonna drown. The dog was pretty. Oh, thank God. Like I don't know. It just like it shot my nerves, so it stuck with me because I hated the timer.
I'm so sorry, man. That's terrible.
It's like the timed algebra quizzes. I don't know if you guys had timed algebra quizzes, but I remember like we had like, you have 1 minute to answer as many of these algebra problems as you can. Or not even doing algebra. It's probably just like addition, subtraction, multiplication.
I remember that. You would not have enjoyed law school. That's a big deal in law school. Everything is timed. All of the exams and stuff are all timed, but they're designed in a way where you don't realistically have enough time to complete it. The point is that it's rushing you, and you're supposed to like prioritize and do the things that you think are worth the most points, and then like scramble to get the rest done. You would have hated that. I thought it was awesome because I'm that kid who like I still finished early. All my classmates in law school were frantically like less, and I with like 15 minutes left, I would just be like, yeah, I think I'm done, and just walk out. And everyone was like, I fucking hate that guy, dick.
It's like you walk out, throw the paper at the professor. You're like, I'm done, and just big D minus.
No, I mean, I didn't get straight A's or anything, but like I got a couple book awards for getting the best grade in a class in a semester, and like I get pretty good law school grades. But what were we talking about?
Mavis Beacon.
What you were saying, Mark, was about like talent, and what it made me, I guess, think about what do we think talent is? Is it the natural ability? Because there are definitely some people who I would say are talented at what they do, like especially like athletes or people where you're mastering one specific thing. Some of them had no natural talent, but are now like, among the best in the world because they had persistence and they just like worked their fucking ass off for their entire life up to this point to get what they got, and they earned it. Are those the same thing? Are those just both talent?
I don't know, because it might be two separate things of like you have talent at something and then you commit to it. You commit to that talent. I think you can be good at whatever you work at, but I do think there's probably a distinction between those that are, have worked for 30 years at something and are still not going to be as good as someone who was naturally inclined at something and also worked 30 years at it. Because clearly there's different rankings of people in their own specialization, and the difference must come down to some kind of talent or natural inclination for it, or else we would all be the same, at these things. I guess maybe that's a bold statement. I don't know.
I think it's both. I think talent probably raises your floor and raises your ceiling, and then how much work you put in helps figure out where in that domain you fall. So like I imagine if you don't have any talent at something, you can get really good at it, but if someone puts in the same work and they just naturally are good at it, they might have a little bit of a higher ceiling. So maybe if they work just as hard, they end up a little bit better, even though you guys put the same work in because they have the natural talent. But to me, it's a bit of both. I think you have to have that natural skill and put the work in order to maximize your talent. And that's what we see as people who maximize their talent. You look at some of the Olympians like Simone Biles, it's nuts watching her. Like all the Olympians are amazing, but she just stands out because it looks so effortless sometimes. And just the moves she pulls off are mind blowing. Mm-hmm. And it's got to be a combination of, the talent she naturally has. Also, like, I imagine she puts in a shit ton of work. It's got to be, to me, both.
I think it has to be, I guess.
I just think it's interesting, and maybe this isn't universal, but I feel like broadly, people seem to have more respect for talent when it's like hard earned than like it was someone who just comes in and is the naturally gifted like number one, and they come in and they kick ass, and that's impressive. But then somebody like, I feel like there's always that story where it's like, oh, he would, like Tom Brady is one that always comes to mind for me. Drafted in the 6th round, drafted 199th overall or whatever. Like nobody had faith in him, and he was riding the bench, and then he happened to get an opportunity, I think, because the guy who was in front of him got injured, and so he went in, and like now Tom, like to the point where people hate him for it. Tom Brady is like, you know, one of the GOATs of all time of his sport and in athletics, and he has all these accolades and stuff. People fucking hate how good he is. And it feels like, oh, he was always just good, but he wasn't. And he, like, I think it's interesting how people view that, I guess. Like that somehow earning it the hard way is like more valuable or more impressive, I guess.
In sports, it's a bit tricky, like with football, because a lot of people also have their own team they root for. And Tom Brady's greatness, not only did you just not stop hearing about it, it was just always like Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, everything you hear about. So you kind of get that fatigue of hearing it too much. But also a lot of people root for a team that's not his team. And so it's like, great, 7 Super Bowls for him. He was also in like 15 of them, which means that my team got to go to 0. So fuck that guy. It's kind of like a combination of things there, the fatigue and also.
Recently, like Caitlin Clark is kind of experiencing the same thing where Caitlin Clark on paper, and I know so much about this because on Go, we basically talk about Caitlin Clark every week. On paper and statistically wise and performance wise, it's very clear that Caitlin Clark is in a league of her own when it comes to playing basketball. Like she is that good. She is actually provably that good, and yet there's just mountains of hate because, you know, people don't like just suddenly hearing about one person's greatness. I feel like in a way it does reflect on yourself, because when you are rooting for a team or you're a fan of something, you are kind of putting yourself on their team or like in someone else's shoes, or you feel an association with that. And then someone else comes along and is like, everyone's talking about how amazing they are. It can reflect on the ego of yourself, and it could affect that. But also, you know, there's no denying Caitlin Clark probably put in a ton of work, probably had great training, you know, is naturally gifted in some way. So it's like, it probably comes down to 3 things. Like it's a talent, natural inclination for something, hard work putting in, and also great educational resources to it. Like, because you can put in all the hard work you want, but if you haven't like trod the path of, you know, the masters before you, or learned from those who have already like made, you know, compounded the knowledge of humanity down a little bit, you can't really even get farther. So maybe there's another factor that we're not considering of like teaching.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, opportunity in general probably plays into it big time. It's not easy. No matter how you get there, I'm not going to say it's easy to become great at whatever, to be a pro athlete or to become a great musician or whatever. But like, it is less difficult if you start in a place where you have access to, you know, you play basketball at one of the best programs in the country, or your father happens to be an all-time legend jazz musician or something. You start in this place where it's like you have inherent opportunity. The only thing you really need is the desire to put in the work and to pursue the thing, because you have a lot of stuff at your fingertips that an average person just, for whatever reason, doesn't have access to. It probably has a big impact on how it looks from the outside as to like who is talented and how do they get their talent type of stuff. But
you know what really suck is if you were super talented at something, but you absolutely had no enjoyment whatsoever of it.
I feel like that happens to people.
Like if it was like the one thing you're great at, but like you just don't like it at all.
I would imagine that happens quite a lot.
It's got to, yeah.
I mean, Wade, you can't think of anything that you maybe had a natural inclination for that you gave up because it was awful?
I mean, a lot of different school subjects. I was very naturally good at school. The only classes I ever had to study for were things we had to memorize a bunch of stuff like biology. If I had to memorize stuff, I had to work a little bit, but otherwise everything came pretty naturally. And I think I've talked about before how in college I took statistics courses and just like blew the professor away, because I was just like, I got 100% on everything I did, plus I did all the extra credit, so my final score was like 124% in the class. And whenever I didn't go back for stats 3, the professor emailed me and was like, please come back, you're such a great student, I would love to have you. And I was like, math credit's done, man, I'm gonna be a lawyer, see you later.
Don't need numbers in the courtroom.
Yeah.
I think a big one, I'm talking a lot about sports today. I think a big one for me is football. I do like football, but I think if I had the mentality and the desire to have been like a college football player, I'm a huge dude. Like you can't really do much about how big you are. And I'm not as big as like NFL linemen by any stretch, but I'm tall enough and big enough. If I had actually enjoyed it, I could have probably gone pretty far as a football player and have totally messed up knees and stuff right now.
How big are guards? I know like tackles are like usually 6'7", but like guards might not be 6'.
I mean, just it depends. It's not even really about height. It's more about frame. Like how much muscle can you really carry and build and like still be athletic and stuff. I have a frame where like I could have had the right build to be a pretty successful lineman, probably a guard or maybe a center, but I fucking hated it. Like I played football for a long time. I played all the way through my second year of high school, and my goal was like, I'm going to play in college. I want to play in college. And I realized once I got to high school, I fucking hated it. I hated the people. The guys on the football team treated me like a nerd because I was a nerd who just also liked football. That like, it was just all around. I hated it, and I didn't have, but I wish I liked it because I enjoy football. Just you gotta be a hard ass, bad, violent guy to be good at football, and I did not have that. You gotta really enjoy just like crushing the shit out of your opponents, which is impressive and scary. But
probably most people never encounter the thing that they are talented at or naturally inclined to be good at. I'd say I have a talent for editing. And especially editing like very large, complex projects. And I probably associate to like directing and whatnot, because what it needs is like a good mental map of all the things. What I was saying earlier in this episode was what I was saying, like I have to try every combination possible. And that like iterative process is very good for me in editing. It seems crazy to a lot of people that I talk to about it, because they're like, I take longer to do something, but also I work many more hours than they ever would, because I have this like need to try every combination, to like stretch everything out. Even if I don't think it'll work, I have to try it because I do it. And I keep a very good mental map because I approach it the same way I do directions. Is like I know where things are, because if I go someplace, I drive there, and I'm very good with like keeping a mental map of the route that I went and where I'm going. I do the same thing with editing.
I've always thought that was fucking crazy. Every time we go to LA, you just drive around without GPS, and like it's not simple to navigate around the places that we've gone, and you just always know where shit is. I would never make it anywhere if I tried to do that. That's weird.
Weirdly, that is like a basic skill that applies to editing and directing in a way, because I also have good like visual memory. The chance of me encountering this, if you put bets when I was a teenager of me being where I am today, it wouldn't even be on the map, because it wouldn't have even been a possibility. So it's like,
oh god, no, I would have bet against you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, thank you. I would too.
I actually did bet against you on several occasions. I lost a lot of money, you asshole.
So it's like most people out there who are naturally inclined to something probably never encounters the thing that they enjoy, because in these basic skills, like with music is also like sound in general, there's a few different things that you could like push there. Analytical mind, good at directions, visual memory. Those could be a bunch of different things. I enjoy what I do right now. Me getting to that enjoyment, probably most people never even encounter the thing that they're both good at and enjoy, just because what are the odds that they would ever be in a situation where they could try it?
Yeah. I think one thing I know I enjoy, and I think I'm decent at, that I don't do anything with, is like the Weird Al style parodying. Like I can take a song and I can get the same number of syllables, the same rhyme scheme, all of that stuff, and like trying to find a topic that fits the feeling of the song like he does, or he makes work. Like there's actually a lot that goes into it. I love doing that. I love taking a song, thinking of just something random and being like, okay, but what if Party in the USA was all about me telling bad puns? What if Mr. Brightside was about Raid Shadow Legends? Like, and then I write the whole thing out, find a good rhyme. Like there's a character in Raid Shadow Legends.
How many of these have you made? On
and off throughout my life, probably no more than a dozen. I mean, I don't know. I actually like gone through and written the whole thing, probably like 10. But like, if you think of weird things like Rockabye Bobby and stuff that we've done on the show, like the little weird parodies, like I do it all the time. Like in my head, I'll hear something and then like someone will say a word. I'm like, oh, that word fits the rhyme scheming of this song. I wonder if, and then like I'll come up with like 3 or 4 lyrics in my head, and then I've got like get a notepad or something and I start writing it out, or like on my phone, I'll take a note. So I don't know, just I really enjoy that. I find it really fun. And then when you have a final product of like a full song, a dupe resin scar hide, it's like, yes, it works.
I don't know. What words did you just say?
Were those words?
That's a character in Raid Shadow Legends. It's like it was the first years ago. It was like the first free fusion legendary you could get.
Which word was the character's name? I don't.
Razin Scarhide, I think is his name. It's been a while since I played, but
So the whole thing was the name. Okay, I gotcha.
Razin Scarhide, Mr. Brightside. It worked out so well. And then like instead of like it was only a kiss, there was another like really powerful character named Krisk. So it was like it was only a Krisk. It was only a Krisk. And I was like, dude, it's flowing. My brain's flowing. Let's go. And like I wrote this whole thing out. I had like 2 or 3 words that fit like something I was like, that'd be kind of a tough. That's one. Oh my God, that works so well. And then like I just dive into it and I come up with a whole song. And then that one was outdated pretty quickly because, you know, in games like that, there's always new characters, new metas coming out and things fall off. But
What a specific talent. I don't know if I have anything that's that specific.
I don't know how I don't know how talented, like I feel like anyone could do it, maybe not, but like it seems to me so easy. It just comes so naturally that I'm like, well, probably anyone could do it. No one just ever really tried. I don't know. I really don't put any effort into that whatsoever. And just like a whole parody song can come out very quickly.
There's a big career on YouTube for stuff like that.
Yeah, why aren't you doing this? This sounds like your next big foray into content creation.
Because despite us doing the singing on tour, the thing that has always scared me the absolute most is singing in front of people.
I'll get someone else to sing it. You can be the writer, producer behind the scenes.
Now we're getting to the point of putting in effort, which is against my brand.
Oh, sorry.
Now I got to find someone to sing. I got to convince them like, hey, and then instruments like
AI.
And I know Weird Al gets permission from all the singers and stuff to do parodies. So it's like, I would probably try to do that route too. And it's like, I don't also want to step on Weird Al's thing and be like, hey, I'm the new parodier in the business.
Oh, he's the only guy who's allowed to do parody songs. You better not fucking dip.
Well, like I'm so good that I would probably, put him beneath me. I don't want to overstep him.
Yeah, you should call him and apologize, or at least congratulate him that you didn't.
Weird Al, I know you're watching this right now.
Daniel Radcliffe would play you in your biopic and then renounce his role as Weird Al in the Weird Al biopic just to insult him.
Is it pronounced biopic? I've always said biopic.
People say biopic, and I think that's fucking unhinged because it is not a biopic. It's a biological picture. It is a biopic. Or no, biographical. Sorry, not biological.
It's alive. It's biological.
It's a biographical film. It is a biopic.
You want to watch these 2 movies, mate? It's about to get biological.
And that's how we get short films.
Huh?
Oh.
Gulp. I'm sorry, are you a cartoon right now?
I'm trying to do that one where the guy says something really poignant and it's just like, don't you think it is? And someone else in a microphone in the other room goes, gulp, 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 as they drink. Have you seen that clip?
No.
I was watching, you guys know Cripster? Bob, you know Cripster. I was watching Cripster play 7 Days to Die on stream the other day, and he was walking around, and he was going pew, pew, pew as he shot his gun, which made gun noises at the zombies. And it was like the same thing. It's like, there's literally a gun sound effect. Why are you pew-pewing? And then I was like, I probably do that sometimes too.
You absolutely have done that.
Gulp. Talent. Any final thoughts on talent? All right.
No one else has talent.
Well, good thing I took a bunch of points early because I don't know if I wrote many after we started to actually talk about the topic.
We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. You didn't get any points for any of it?
You did. Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Mark, you got points for To Keep, Stupid First, Is Talent Real, Mavis Beacon, No Vids For You, How Did I Get Famous? How did I get famous? Oh yeah, like, how did I get famous? I think it was a joke you said. And then points for engaging in the topic. So many points for engaging in the topic. Bob, you got points for Pro Roastville. No, that's not it. Procrastinate. The C faded out a little bit.
Bro, Roastville, brother.
Few Gaming. Fear Gaming. Mandy Better. I think that was the tower defense game. Google Illuminate. Yo-Yo Tricks. Law School Asshole.
That's me. That was very early on in the recording. I just want to throw that out.
Well, you also got tons of points for engaging in the topic. Mark, you ended up with 10 points. Bob, you ended up with, holy fuck. Mark, you have 10 points. 5 plus 5, 10. Mark, you get.
Thank you.
Bob, who is second person I talked about, you have 11 points.
Ah.
Which is one more than 10.
Stinky Mark, no win.
You know, I had a sneaking suspicion because my name was read first, and every time someone's name is read first.
I just do that. I think I just read you guys in order, don't I?
I don't know. It just seems to be a trend. I get it. It's understandable.
You write it like that, and that's why I always win when you host.
Because you're always saying.
Yeah, because I'm the second one. That's just how it works out.
Next time I'll try to remember to put you first and see if you lose. All right, well, that's talent, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. Your talent is there. Bob, you won. Do you want to give us a winner's speech?
Yeah. As a talented person myself, I felt like I spoke with a lot of authority on this episode, on this topic. If you weren't mentioned, it doesn't mean you don't have talent. It just means we don't know who you are.
We went through this topic so fast. There's a lot of stuff we probably didn't talk about, but yeah, well said. Mark, do you have a Bob? Do you have a
I have a Bob speech. Yes, he is a loser, and I'm going to emulate him.
Man, I need more sleep. Yeah, Mark, go ahead and spoke. Go ahead and spoke.
As a man of many talents, one of my talents is obviously my voice. In reality, this is just another opportunity to exercise my talent. One of these things that I never thought. You know what's funny though? Just getting outside of the speech. Wait, hold on. Because you know, people said I had a nice voice when I started YouTube, and even before I had a speech class, a public speaking class, it was like, oh, wow, you're really good at that. I go back and I listen to my first videos.
Hello, everybody.
We all make fun of it because it's like, I don't think I sound that good. What were people on about?
It was all the big screams. You had a good loud. You had a lot of range.
Must have been that. Yeah.
It wasn't the hello everybody. That's funny.
Hello, everybody.
Anyway, I lost, and that means I have less talent than Bob.
Yep.
Should have worked at it more.
Should have had a better teacher.
Is that me? I failed you both.
No.
Never mind. All right, that's the episode, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for the next one where, dear God, I hope I don't do much talking. If you haven't already, go follow Bob at MyScur, Mark at Markiplier, or me at Minion777 or Lord Minion777. We have merch at distractablestore.com. That's distractablestore.com, where you can buy stuff. Stay tuned for the next episode where Bob will host, and we'll see what happens. Until then, find your talent and practice it, or don't if you don't like it. Just do whatever you want. I don't know. Podcast out.